you're clear what we're going to do today. I'm going to go over this this plea petition with you. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, okay? If I ask you something you don't understand, you tell me that. We'll talk about it until we're sure we're on the same page.
Okay.
If at any time you want to talk to Mr. Crawford before you answer a question, you just tell me. And I have a thing where I can send you to what's called a private room. You can talk to him without the rest of us hearing. The lawyers are telling me that they want to waive PSI. In felony cases, we have to do pre-sentence investigations. But since this is going to be a misdemeanor plea, we can go ahead and get your sentence done today so we don't have to have any more court, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, and I will have you sworn in, but I'm going to call a case before we do this. All right. Let's be on the record in case number 2020 CR 52, captioned State of Kansas versus Sharon Owens. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
May it please the court, Candace Alcarez appears on behalf of the state.
May it please the court, Your Honor, Ms. Owens appears via Zoom with counsel Phil Crawford from another location.
All right. We are here set down originally for a plea hearing today. My understanding is the parties at the end of the plea are going to ask me to waive pre-sentence investigation and go directly to sentencing. So let's start with the plea. To get started, Ms. Owens, the first thing we have to do is have you sworn in. So if you'd raise your right hand, my court reporter will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Owens, how far did you go in school?
To me,
Yeah.
I got my GED.
All right. You reading right okay?
Yeah.
As you sit here today, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs or prescription medicine that might cloud your mind, keep you from understanding what you're doing?
No.
Feel like your mind's clear today?
Yes.
All right. Now, you know what you're charged with, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you know you don't have to change your plea from one of not guilty to guilty. If you wanted to maintain your not guilty plea, you would have an absolute right to a jury trial on those charges. You understand that?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford would, the state would have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You wouldn't have to prove anything yourself. Mr. Crawford could help you throughout that case. He could cross-examine, confront all the state's witnesses, call any witnesses that you wanted called. You would have a right to testify at that trial, but you'd also have a right not to testify. And if you decided not to testify, that couldn't be used against you. Do you understand all those rights?
Yes.
All right. And if you went through that trial and got convicted, you'd have a right to appeal that conviction to the Kansas appellate courts. If you didn't have money to do that, a lawyer would be appointed to do it for you. You understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Now, if we take this plea today and I accept it, you're going to be giving up all those rights. There's not going to be a trial of any kind in this case. You understand that?
Yes.
All right. Now, I want to put up on the screen here the plea petition that Mr. Crawford sent me. Give me 1 second. All right. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
All right. Is that the plea petition that Mr. Crawford went over with you?
Yes.
All right. It tells me that the agreement here is that you're going to be pleading to count 2. That is that count of misdemeanor theft, a Class A misdemeanor, that the parties are going to recommend that I give you 12 months underlying and a fine with no fine and 12 months of probation. Is that your understanding of the entire plea agreement?
Yes.
Has anybody promised you anything else?
No.
Anyone made any threats against you to make you plead today?
No.
All right. So it talks about the recommendations for sentencing. And you understand, while I listen closely to everyone's recommendations, I'm not party to or bound by them, and I can give you any sentence that the law allows me to give you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And the maximum sentence for this charge would be 12 months in county jail and a fine of up to $2,500. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Any questions for me about anything that we went over today?
No.
All right. And given all this that we talked about, you still want to enter this plea of guilty of no contest today?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Crawford, do you know any legal reason why your client should not plead no contest?
No, I don't.
All right. Then Miss Owens, as to count 2 of the original information that charges you with theft, a class A misdemeanor, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
What is in fact no contest?
No, no contest. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask the state to tell me what they think the evidence would be in this case if it went to trial. I want you to listen closely. I'm not going to ask you if you agree or disagree with that evidence, just if you understand that that's what the state thinks they could put on, okay?
Okay.
Ms. Alcaraz.
Yes, Judge. State's evidence would be that on January 9th of 2020, the defendant present here today via Zoom was at the address 2609 South 27th Street, Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte County. While there, she unlawfully exerted unauthorized control over property belonging to Gary Calhoun. The property included tools, electronics, and clothing, which she, along with 3 to 4 others, removed from Mr. Calhoun's property without his permission and with the intent to permanently deprive Mr. Calhoun of those items. The items in total were worth less than $1,500.
All right. Ms. Owens, you understand that if this went to trial, that's what the state believes they could put on?
Yes.
All right. I will find the defendant has freely, voluntarily, and intelligently changed her plea from one of not guilty to no contest. The state has provided a sufficient factual basis for a finding of guilt, and I therefore will find the defendant guilty of count 2, a Class A misdemeanor charge of theft. Pursuant to the plea agreement, count 1 is hereby dismissed. My understanding is the parties wish to waive pre-sentence investigation, go directly to sentencing today. Is that correct, Ms. Alcaraz?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then I would hear your comments as to sentencing, Ms. Alcaraz.
Yes, Judge. For this case, the state would be asking for an underlying 12-month jail sentence, but for the court to grant the defendant's probation for 12 months to court services and to follow the conditions of that probation. We would leave the court costs and fees to the discretion of the court, and we would have the court take note of the jail credit in this case, which is in total 41 days.
All right. Mr. Crawford, comments upon sentencing.
Miss Owens was one of several people involved here. It wasn't her doing by herself. There were some other people, I think, who applied for diversion in this matter. She applied for diversion in this matter, but they were unable to get that completed because she had a pending misdemeanor in an outlying county, which she is taking care of or is taking care of. It is not a theft case. She did spend significant time in custody. I think this is a fair resolution. I don't know that she is working, so I'd ask you to request of her information with regard to costs and fees in this matter. Otherwise, I think this is fairly done. I'd ask the court to follow the recommendations of the parties.
All right. Ms. Owens, now's your opportunity to tell me anything you want me to know in mitigation of your sentence today.
I'm just want to get it done and over with.
All right. I'm going to now pronounce sentence. I will follow the plea agreement. Ms. Owens will be sentenced to the custody of the Wyandotte County Sheriff for a period of 12 months. Her application for probation is considered and it is granted to court services for a period of 12 months. Ms. Owens, so how do you make ends meet if you're not working?
Right now, I'm staying with my mom.
All right. You pay her any rent or anything?
Yeah, and I have epilepsy really bad. I just had a bunch of seizures yesterday.
Are you collecting any?
I'm working on getting my disability.
All right. All right. I'm going to waive court costs and supervision fees. Find it would be a substantial hardship to the defendant, given her medical condition and inability to work. So I will waive those, as well as the attorney fees. This isn't a felony, so there's no registration requirement or database fee. All right. And as far as it goes, is there any request of restitution, state? I forgot to ask that. You're muted.
Sorry, no, Judge.
All right. Then there is no request for restitution. All right. Miss Owens, you need to know that you have 14 days from today to appeal anything you don't like about your sentence. You may be able to have it expunged after a period of time following successful completion of probation. Ms. Alcaraz, jail time credit mentioned by the parties is granted. Ms. Alcaraz, anything else I failed to cover today?
No, Judge, I do believe we've covered everything.
Ms. Crawford,
I guess there's right to appeal if she wants to appeal.
I just said that, yes.
Oh, you did? I apologize. Then everything's been covered.
All right.